if you went with just what the news feeds tell you, you would have no idea what's really going on in the world. Not only would you have no idea, you would certainly have the wrong idea. Here's a case in point. The Times of Israel had a report, and the significance of it was not only underreported, it was virtually unreported because of what dominated our news feeds here in America. I know I've said this before, I'm going to say it again, but it's my belief that everything that we're being fed on that news feed is all a distraction and a disruption, and it's creating confusion over what really matters. And what really matters is what's happening in Israel and to Israel. And case in point is the approval of the Jewish nation-state law. On Thursday, July 19th, Knesset members approved a controversial and long-debated law that officially defines Israel as the Jewish nation-state. The law, for the first time, enshrines Israel as the national home of the Jewish people. In the final text of the law, there are basic principles which, among other things, state that, listen, the land of Israel is the historical homeland of the Jewish people in which the state of Israel was established. Furthermore, the capital of the state, Jerusalem, complete and united, is the capital of Israel. Okay. So what's the big deal? Oh, what's the big deal? It should come as no surprise that this would arouse the ire of Israel's numerous enemies, one of which is the Palestinian president, so-called Mahmoud Abbas, who, according to Jews News, in response to the newly enacted Jewish nation-state law passed by the Israeli Knesset, declared that the city of Jerusalem shall be the everlasting capital of the state of Palestine. And that, get this, no peace or security, security, will prevail unless the city remains as such. In a statement, he said the new law will not change the historical situation of Jerusalem as the capital of the occupied state of Palestine, and will not discourage our people from their legitimate struggle, Mein Kampf, to defeat the occupation and establish their independent state. He affirmed that the right of the Palestinian people to return to their land, is a sacred and unshakable right guaranteed by international law, foremost of which is Resolution 194, which affirmed the right of the return of Palestinian refugees to their homes. Here's the big deal. Christians believe it. Illiterate, biblically, Christians buy hook, line, and sinker this propaganda, this lie. And by the way, let me say that the Arabs, and I say Arabs deliberately, in Israel today would rather be with the Jew than their own people. And so this is just a lie. I don't know how else to say it. These are all lies from the father of lies, and the purpose of these lies is to distort the truth of God's word. Here's the truth. The land belongs to Israel. Jerusalem is the eternal capital of Israel, and God has an everlasting covenant with Israel. And as such, God has a prophetic and redemptive plan for Israel, which will be fulfilled after the rapture, which takes place before the 7-year tribulation. That's the truth. That's the truth. And you'd be hard-pressed to proclaim that truth in a world today that is believing the lie. Interesting. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, the Apostle Paul said, because they've rejected the truth, they'll believe the lie. God himself will send this powerful delusion, this strong delusion. Why? Because they've rejected the truth. I've heard it said this way. When you reject the truth, you open yourself up to the most bizarre of lies. When you reject the truth. And this is the truth. Here's where I'm going with all of this. We have the truth. Right? And we have the answer, right? And we have the hope. Now here's the question, and I'm not, please, the Lord knows my heart. I'm not trying to get up in your grill. I'm not trying to get in your face. I'm not trying to beat anybody up. But I do have to ask this question. What are we going to do with it? Are we going to bury it? Are we going to hide the light under a basket? Or are we instead going to give an answer to everyone for the reason we have this hope? What are we afraid of? Well, I'm afraid of what they might think of me. I'm sorry, but do you know what they really think about you already? I mean, is it that we're afraid that they're going to reject us and not like us? You know, you've probably heard many liken this to having the cure for cancer but not sharing it. Here we have the cure for the cancer of sin, and we're not sharing it. Jesus is the cure. Jesus is the answer. Not just for the world globally, but for all of us individually, because Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life.